If I have the choice between buying a generic drug and a brand name drug, I'm always going to choose the generic. And here's why. You probably already know that generic drugs are generally much less expensive than the brand name versions. But there tends to be some back and forth and some confusion when it comes to the question of whether the brand name and the generic drugs are actually the same. The answer to that question, basically yes. Let me explain. So the brand name drug is always going to come to market first. That's because the brand name drug is the version of the drug that the pharmaceutical company has created. And they have a patent on that drug for a certain amount of years, meaning there can be no generics made by another company until that pharmaceutical company's patent runs out. Once the patent runs out, a generic drug manufacturer is then able to apply to have their generic drug approved by the FDA. Through that application process, the generic drug maker has to prove that their drug contains the same active ingredient as the brand name drug. It also has to be taken in the same way, and the dose has to be the same as well. The generic drug also has to be in the same form or shape. So if the brand name drug is a solution, the generic has to be a solution. If the brand name drug is a capsule, the generic has to be a capsule. But not only does the active ingredient have to be the same, have to be taken the same way, and have to be in the same dose, the medication also has to be bioequivalent. Remember that airport analogy or that club analogy we talked about before? Absorption, distribution, metabolism, excretion. Bioequivalence means that your body is processing the generic medication the same way that it would process the brand name medication, which then tells the FDA that the two medications would have the same therapeutic effect, meaning they would handle your issue the same way.